welcome to AFRICUNIA television news updates, reaching you from the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. I am Deborah Ezeh. We begin from Nigeria. The People's Democratic Party on Wednesday slammed the All Progressives Congress over claim that the ruling party would win the 2023 general elections with 43 million votes if the conduct was free and fair. The national chairman of the APC, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, made this assertion while receiving the ambassador of Poland to Nigeria in his office on Wednesday. He said with the massive support from the party enjoyed from over 43 million Nigerians, there was no way the party would lose the 2023 election. Adamu's statements Wednesday night evoked a scathing reaction from the PDP spokesman, who queried whether the APC hoped to garner the imaginary vote. The PDP image maker further accused the ruling party of polarizing the country along ethnic and religious lines, adding the Nigerians are more divided than ever. Now moving on, stakeholders are in pain mode over the fate of the nation's economy, stemming from a sustained energy crisis that has lasted 7 years. Nigeria, according to stakeholders, now has to face worsening situation that will escalate existing high cost of living and goods. There are also indications that the energy crisis will further increase unemployment, as well as borrowing, as a 5.5 trillion naira projected revenue in the 2022 budget remains as elusive over productivity challenge in the manufacturing and service sector. Already, the country is spending over 90% of its earnings from the oil sector on petrol subsidy, and with the energy crisis, experts project 2 4 times for state government as the country prepares for the 2023 general elections. While Nigerians are to pay about 876.6 billion naira on electricity bills in the last lap of President Muhammad Barre's administration, the development seen by consumer advocates as payments for darkness, manufacturers and small and medium-scale entrepreneurs have said that more businesses are rapidly shutting down, leading to unemployment crisis. And still in Nigeria, Nigeria's inflation rate has again surged to 17.71%, according to latest figure by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. In May 2022, the inflation rate increased to 17.71% on a year-on-year basis. It stated in the CPI and inflation report May 2022 that the latest figure is 0.22% point lower than the rate recorded in May 2021, which is 17.93%. On a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate increased to 1.78% in May 2022. This is also 0.02% rate higher than the rate recorded in April 2022, that is 1.76%. The urban inflation rate increased to 18.24% year-on-year, and this is a 0.27% deadline compared to 18.51% recorded in May 2021. The rural inflation rate increased to 17.21% in May 2022 year-on-year basis, and this is a 0.15% decline compared to 17.36% recorded in May 2021. On a month-on-month basis, the rural index rose to 1.76% in May 2022, up by 0.02% from the rate recorded in April 2022, that is 1.74%. While the corresponding 12-month average percentage change for the rural inflation rate in May 2022 is 15.91%. And now in Somalia, Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed appointed lawmaker Hamza Abdi Barre as the country prime minister, with the new premier facing a host of challenges including a looming famine and an Islamist insurgency. The 48-year-old MP from the semi-autonomous state of Jubaland replaces Mohammed Hussein Rabel, whose 22 months in office were marred by a rancorous dispute with Mohammed's predecessor, Mohammed Abdullahi Mohammed, that threatened to plunge Somalia back into violent chaos. Observers say his choice of Hamza, who has close ties with Jubaland President Ahmed Mabode, is a sign of his intent to build better relationships with Somalia's regional leaders. Hamza, who served as the chairperson of the Jubaland Independent Boundaries and Electoral Commission in 2019 and 2020 and worked in the federal government for 4 years prior to that, is the first prime minister to emerge from Somalia's Ogaden clan. And now moving on, the Gambian government has ordered the suspension of state employees accused of crimes during the presidency of former dictator Yahya Jammeh, a Justice Ministry spokesperson has said. The steps marks a significant advance in the judicial process to try multiple crimes committed between 1994 and 2017 under former President Yahya Jammeh, including torture, summary execution, and sexual abuses. The Minister of Justice has written to government institutions to notify those concerned of the suspension, spokesman for the ministry said, and he also said he expected their suspension in the next few days. The authority's decision is one of the concrete measures recommended by a commission that investigated crimes committed during Jammeh's era for 2 years and submitted its reports to the government in November. It counted between 240 and 250 people who died at the hands of the state and its agents. And still on the African scene, the IMF financial support to Zambia to bail out a massive debt that has put the country in default should be concluded by early September, the financial institution said yesterday. Zambia is due to start a meeting with its creditors on Thursday to begin restructuring its debt and unlocking financing. The good news is that all major creditors are ready to start discussion, and this brings closer to the IMF program. Creditors must deliberate and decide. However, we can expect this to go to the IMF board in early September, Finance Minister Sitimbeku said. Up next is headlines making the rounds on the foreign scene today. Stay with me. Now on to the sports scene. The Champions League group stage begins on September 6th and 7th, 1 week earlier than in the 2021 and 2022 season. Group matches will be played on back-to-back weeks rather than in 2 and 3 weeks interval to ensure they are completed before the World Cup. The knockout rounds commence on February 14th and 15th, while the final will take place on June 10th in Istanbul. The Europa League and Europa Conference League stages begin on September 8th and finishes on November 3rd, while the knockout round starts on February 16th. The Europa League final will be on May 31st in Budapest, while the Europa Conference League final will be on June 7th in Paraguay. And finally, Inter Milan are confident they can complete a loan deal for Chelsea striker Romelu Lukaku. Inter Milan chief executive Morata says the club are in no rush over a potential return for Romelu Lukaku, but remain keen on re-signing him this summer after an interview he gave Sky in Italy last December. Chelsea paid Inter £97.5 million to sign Lukaku last summer, but Belgian scored just 8 Premier League goals in 26 outings. Chelsea are pressing ahead with their summer recruitment plans now that the £4.25 billion Todd Boehly-led consortium takeover of the club has been completed. The Blues have a verbal agreement already in place with Sevilla defender Julius Koundé with the Spanish club, preferring a quick deal as they aim to balance their books before June 30th. And now that concludes the news update on AFRICUNIA television. To stay updated and connected to our news and other programs, do subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and leave a comment for me on the comment section. And also follow all our social media platforms on Jointum, Pangram, Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter in that respective order. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.